The sky was dark. Heavy rain poured from the clouds, washing the broken roads and empty buildings of a dead alien city. Lightning flashed in the distance. Thunder rolled like a warning. Eli walked alone, his boots splashing through deep puddles of dirty water. He wore a long coat, soaked and heavy. A mask covered his face, filtering out the toxic air. He moved slowly, searching through the ruins for anything useful: metal, wires, old tech. Things he could trade. This was not Earth. It used to be a colony world, once full of people and hope. Now it was only dust, silence, and forgotten things. As Eli turned a corner near a collapsed tower, he froze. Something moved in the mud. At first, he thought it was a dying animal. But then, it lifted its head. It was a girl. Not human, but almost. Her skin was pale gray, covered in dirt and black oil. Her long hair stuck to her face. Her arms were thin, shaking. Her eyes, half closed, glowed softly with a strange blue light. She tried to crawl toward him, one slow movement at a time. Then, she whispered in a broken voice, "Wash me. Clean me. I'll bear you strong children, human." Eli took a step back. His heart pounded in his chest. "What did you say?" he asked. The girl fell into the mud again, breathing hard. Her voice was weak, but clear. "I need you. Make me clean. I'll give you strong children." Eli looked around. There was no one else. Just rain and ruins. She didn't seem dangerous. She looked sick, broken, almost dead. But there was something else, something strange. Something powerful beneath all that dirt. He knelt beside her, unsure of what he was doing. Her skin was cold and rough, like stone left in the rain too long. "Why would I help you?" he asked. She opened her glowing eyes and looked at him. "Because you're the last one left who can." Eli didn't know what she meant, but he couldn't leave her there. Something deep inside told him this moment was important, that if he walked away, something would be lost forever. He lifted her gently into his arms. She was light, like a child. Her body trembled against him. Back at his shelter, a small bunker under an old fuel station, he laid her on a clean sheet. He removed his wet coat and started heating water. As steam filled the air, he looked at the strange girl again. She lay still, her chest rising and falling slowly. The mud on her skin had started to dry, cracking like old paint. He brought a cloth and began to clean her, one small part at a time. The moment water touched her skin, something changed. The gray turned silver, the black oil vanished. Her breathing became stronger, smoother. The blue glow in her eyes grew brighter. She was healing, not just getting clean, but getting stronger. Eli kept going, wiping away the dirt from her arms, her face, her legs. Under all the filth was not a monster, but something beautiful. Alien. Yes, but not scary. She opened her eyes again and whispered, "Thank you." "Who are you?" Eli asked. "My name is Selah," she said. "I was born different. That's why they left me to die." "Who left you?" Eli asked. "My own people. I carry something inside me. Something new, something they fear." She sat up slowly. Her voice was stronger now. "My body needs to bond with a human. Only then can my kind be reborn. That's why I called to you." Eli stared at her. The rain still hit the roof above them. The wind howled outside. "You're saying you want to make children with me?" "Yes," she said, "but not the way you think. It's more than that. It's survival, a new beginning." Eli stood up and walked to the corner of the room. He needed to think. Everything was moving too fast. She didn't follow him. She just watched him, calm, silent, glowing softly in the dim light. Outside, the storm grew louder. But inside, something new had started. A strange connection. A dangerous choice. Eli looked at her again. She was no longer just a dirty creature in the rain. She was a mystery, and maybe the future. And now he was part of it. Eli woke to silence. The storm had stopped, but something else had changed too. The air inside the bunker felt heavier, warmer, like something was breathing in the walls. He sat up quickly, his hand moving to the small knife under his bedroll. Then he saw her. Scylla was standing in the middle of the room, surrounded by tiny pieces of broken tech, junk that Eli had collected over months. But now the metal was floating. Screws, wires, and old circuit chips spun slowly around her, like she was the center of her own quiet storm. Her skin was no longer pale gray. It shimmered like silver stone in moonlight. Her eyes burned with soft blue light. She didn't look weak anymore. She looked awakened. Eli stood up slowly. "What are you doing?" Scylla didn't turn. She raised one hand, and the floating tech dropped instantly. "I was checking your things," she said calmly. "You collect junk, but some of it still holds memory." "Memory?" "Yes, machines remember, even broken ones." She finally turned to him. Her expression was soft, but her voice held power. "Thank you for cleaning me. Without it, I wouldn't have lasted another day." Eli crossed his arms. "You said you were different. What does that mean?" Scylla stepped closer, her bare feet silent on the cold floor. "My people were made, not born. Created in labs by a species called the Varnak. We were soldiers, tools, perfect bodies, no feelings. But I was an accident. A natural birth. The first of my kind." Eli frowned. "That doesn't sound like an accident. It sounds like evolution." She nodded. "That's why they tried to erase me. I carry a part of the Varnak code. And a part of something else. Something wild. Something human." Eli stepped back. "Wait, human? But your kind never had contact with Earth." "Not officially," Scylla said. "But in secret, the Varnak stole DNA. Yours and others. They wanted strength without emotion. But in me something new grew." She pointed at her chest. "My heart. I feel pain, hope, want. That's what makes me dangerous to them." Eli looked at her, unsure whether to feel fear or awe. This girl, this alien, wasn't just a survivor. She was living proof of something impossible. "And you want to make children with humans?" Scylla gave a small smile. "It's not about love, it's about survival. My body can only activate fully when bonded with a human host. Then it begins, the real transformation." Alila's voice was low. "What kind of transformation?" Scylla looked down at her hands, then at him. "You wouldn't stay human, not fully. You'd become something stronger, faster, maybe even ageless, but only if your mind can survive the bond." A long silence fell between them. Eli felt like the ground under his feet was shifting. He came to this world to scavenge, to survive. He didn't expect to become part of some alien evolution experiment. "I didn't sign up for this," he muttered. "I know," Scylla said softly. "But now we are linked. You cleaned me. You accepted the call, even if you didn't mean." Suddenly, the lights flickered. A sharp sound like metal scraping against metal echoed outside. Scylla's eyes narrowed. "They found me." "Who?" Eli asked, grabbing his gear. "The old machines. The ones left behind to kill anything that looked like me. They're still out there, still hunting." She walked to the door and pressed her hand against the metal. A strange pulse shot through the wall. A map appeared, glowing, moving, showing red dots approaching fast. "They're coming," she said. "We have minutes." Eli grabbed his pack. "Do we run?" "No," she said, her voice calm but hard. "We fight or we die." Then she looked at him again, not with fear, but with something deeper. "A connection. If you stay with me, Eli, you won't stay the same. You'll become something more. But you must choose now." Eli looked at her, silver skin, glowing eyes, powerful. And yet, still holding that same look from the mud. The girl who begged him for help. He took a deep breath, and he chose. The smoke still hung in the air. Metal pieces and burnt wires were scattered across the bunker floor. The attack was over, but Eli's hands were still shaking. 200 drones lay in pieces outside. He had fought beside Sayla, but something had changed during the fight. He was faster, stronger. His vision was sharper. He moved like he had trained for years, but he hadn't. After the battle, Sayla said nothing. She just stared at the sky through a crack in the ceiling, watching the gray clouds move. Then finally she spoke. "You felt it, didn't you?" Eli didn't answer right away. He looked at his hands. They were glowing faintly, barely noticeable but real. "I'm not the same anymore." "No," she said. "You're not." Sayla sat on the floor, crossed her legs, and motioned for Eli to do the same. "You need to know the truth. About me, about my people, about why I was in that mud dying." Eli sat down slowly. He didn't fully trust her. But he couldn't walk away now. Not after what he had seen and felt. She took a deep breath. "We were made by the Varnak. You've heard of them." "Old empire," Eli said. "Gone now, left behind ruins and weapons." Sayla nodded. "They didn't just build machines. They built life. They created my people, the Ilari. Beautiful, strong, obedient, no emotions, no dreams. Just perfect servants." Her voice darkened, but something went wrong. One of the Varnak scientists broke the rule. She grew attached to her creation. She used Forbidden's code and mixed it with human DNA taken from Earth colonies. Eli leaned in. "Wait, human DNA? Why?" "To give us imagination," Sayla said. "To make us more than machines." She looked at him now, eyes glowing. "I am the result. The first natural-born Ilari, not made in a tube. Born like a human child, with a soul." Eli didn't speak. He could feel it now. Her words carried more weight than any truth he'd ever heard. The Varnak panicked. They feared what I might become. A Ilari who could think for herself, feel, disobey. "So they tried to kill you," Eli said. "They did more than that," Sayla whispered. "They erased my name from history. Locked me in a stasis pod and buried me underground." She paused. "I was in that pod for decades. Maybe centuries. Until something, maybe the last quake or a system failure woke me. I escaped, barely, and then, the mud, the rain. The silence." She looked at him again. "Until you." Eli stared at the floor. His mind was spinning. If what she said was true, then Sayla wasn't just rare. She was history's first true hybrid. A bridge between two worlds. And now, something in his own body was changing too. "Why me?" he asked quietly. Sayla smiled sadly. "Because when I woke, I called out with everything I had left. Not just with words, with instinct. With the part of me that still believed someone would come. And I did." "Yes," she said. "That means you're not just human anymore. The bond has begun. You felt it during the fight, your reflexes, your strength." Eli nodded slowly. "And it's only the beginning," she said. "But there's more. The Varnak left behind a failsafe." "What kind?" "A virus. If any Ilari like me are ever found alive, the machines will activate. The virus spreads through our kind, kills us from the inside." Her voice dropped. "But it only kills those born in the labs. What about you?" Eli asked. "I don't know. Maybe I'm immune. Or maybe I'm the last timer ticking." She stood up and walked to the corner where the broken drone lay. She picked up a glowing piece, a core chip, and handed it to Eli. "This proves they're still watching. Someone still fears me." Eli held the chip in his hand. It was still warm. "What now?" he asked. Sayla's face hardened. "There's an old research station. High in the mountains. Hidden. That's where I was born. And maybe it holds the answers we need. About the virus. About the bond. About What we're becoming. Eli looked at the wreckage around them. He thought about Earth, about the colonies, about how small he once felt in the galaxy. Not anymore. Then let's go, he said. Sayla nodded. But deep inside, Eli felt something stirring. A whisper in his blood. He wasn't sure if it was hers. Or something new growing inside him. The sky above the mountain turned red. Not from the sunset. From fire. A drone exploded behind them, crashing into the trees like a dying star. The shockwave threw Eli to the ground. Dirt filled his mouth. He rolled, coughing, ears ringing. Get up! Sayla shouted. She pulled him to his feet with more strength than he thought her small frame could carry. They ran through tall alien trees, over sharp roots, and across cold streams. Every step was survival. Above them, 3 more hunter drones circled. They scanned the forest with beams of blue light. Their wings cut the air like blades. They won't stop, Sayla said, breathing hard. They're bound to the virus system. They smell me. Eli's lungs burned. His legs ached. Then how do we escape? We don't, she looked at him. We hide, and we trick them. They stopped near a cliff where the trees ended. Below, there was nothing but fog and the black mouth of a canyon. Sayla pulled a small device from her belt. A square of glowing metal. What's that? Eli asked. A piece of myself, she said. It holds my scent, my code. I stole it before they locked me in stasis. She tossed it over the cliff. Seconds later, all 3 drones turned and dived after it, disappearing into the fog. Silence. Just like that. They were alone again, but Eli didn't feel safe. Not really. They walked deeper into the forest, their path twisting through ruins covered in moss and broken tech. Giant metal trees, part machine, part plant, hummed softly like they remembered the world that once was. Sayla stopped near a rusted archway. This used to be a gate, she said. The Alari would pass through here to be judged. Judged for what? Eli asked. For weakness, for emotions, for anything human. She touched the metal gently. They would have burned me alive right here. Eli looked at her, trying to imagine what it felt like to be hated by your own kind. Born different. Hunted because of what you are. He saw her differently now, not just as an alien girl asking to be cleaned, but as someone running from extinction. Why do they fear your kind so much? He asked. Sayla turned to him. Her eyes were sharp. Because we dream, because we feel, because we choose. She paused. They wanted soldiers, not souls. As they moved forward, the trees opened to reveal an old stone path leading to a hidden lift built into the cliff wall. This will take us halfway to the lab, she said. But after this, we walk. The lift groaned as it rose, powered by an old energy core. Eli watched the forest shrink below them. For a moment, the world was quiet, but in that silence, he felt it again, his hands glowing faintly. He had felt stronger since the last fight, faster, and now his skin. It felt thicker, like armor growing under the surface. Sayla, he said, what's happening to me? She looked at him gently. The bond is continuing. It doesn't just give you strength. It changes you. How much? If we finish the bond, you won't be human anymore. Not completely. Eli looked away. The wind touched his face. The mountains stared back, old and quiet. I didn't ask for this. I know, she said. But neither did I. They stood in silence until the lift stopped. They stepped off and followed a narrow trail into a field of glowing stones. The stars above blinked through broken clouds. Sayla stopped suddenly. Eli reached for his knife. Then they heard it. Not machines this time. Something worse, a voice. Sayla. It echoed through the mountains, cold, familiar, not human. She froze. Eli whispered, who is that? She didn't answer. Another voice joined in. Deeper, sharper. You brought him here, a human? You really are broken. From the shadow stepped a figure, tall, silver-skinned, with golden eyes. Another Ilari, a male, not dirty, not damaged. Perfect. Sayla stepped back. Rael, the figure smiled. Hello, sister. Ayle had never seen two people stand so still, and yet feel like they might explode at any second. Sayla and Rael. Same silver skin, same glowing eyes, same alien blood. But everything else was war. The cold mountain wind howled between them. Rael's golden armor shimmered like fire under the twin moons. Behind him, two more Ilari stood like statues, perfect, flawless, and silent. You've changed, Sayla, Rael said. His voice was smooth, like metal sliding across glass. You used to kneel. I learned to stand, she replied, her tone calm. But her fingers twitched like lightning was hiding under her skin. Eli stepped closer to her side, unsure if he was a shield or just standing in the way. Rael looked at him and smiled, the kind of smile a snake gives before biting. So this is the human? The one you called? The one you think can carry your seed? Eli's hand moved to his weapon. Rael raised a finger. Don't. If I wanted you dead, I'd already be wearing your skin. Sayla stepped in front of Eli. What do you want? I want what's mine, Rael said. You, your code, your potential. You're the last unbroken one, Sayla. The last who can create new life. You want to make children with me? She asked coldly. No, Rael said. I want to make an army. His voice echoed across the cliffs. You and the human, you're wasting the gift. One child? A family? That's not survival. That's sentiment. But imagine, thousands of us, born strong, born fast, part human, part Ilari. We could take back the stars. Sayla's eyes flared. You would turn me into a machine factory, Rael smiled. That's what we were. Always meant to be. Eli finally spoke. You said you had a deal. Let's hear it. Rael turned to him. Walk away right now. Leave her. I'll let you live. You'll keep your mind, your body. No more changes, no more bond. And if I stay, you'll lose everything. Your humanity, your future, maybe even your soul. Eli looked at Sayla. She didn't say a word, but her eyes said everything. She didn't need saving. She just didn't want to be alone. Rael stepped closer. You feel it, don't you? The changes inside you, the hunger, the light in your skin, the voice in your dreams. Eli's breath caught. How do you know about the voice? Rael grinned. Because I've heard it too. It's not hers. It's the system inside you waking up. The bond isn't just a connection, it's a rewrite. You're not becoming stronger. You're becoming something else. He leaned in closer, and when it finishes, you won't remember what it felt like to be human. A long silence followed. The wind whispered. Sayla looked at Eli. You don't have to choose me, she said. But if you walk away, he'll take me. He'll use me. Eli's fingers curled into fists. His skin glowed, faint, but real. He thought of Earth. The people who would never believe this was even possible. He thought of her, not just as an alien girl, but as someone who had suffered, fought, survived. He stepped forward. I already made my choice, he said. When I pulled her from the mud. Rael's smile faded. Then you're a fool. No, Eli said. I'm just done running. The air shifted. Rael raised his hand, and the two silent Ilari behind him moved fast, blades forming from their arms. Sayla's voice rang out. Run! But Eli didn single quotes t. This time, he charged. Asterisk Eli hit the ground hard. Blood filled his mouth. His ribs screamed. He rolled just in time to avoid a blade slicing down where his head had been a second ago. Rael didn't fight like a man. He moved like thunder, fast, precise, impossible to stop. Eli had fought before. He'd survived street gangs, mercenaries, even alien bots. But this was different. This was war between species. Rael stepped forward, calm, almost bored. His skin shimmered like polished steel. His golden eyes didn't blink. "You don't belong here," Rael said. "You're a tool. Human, a battery, nothing more." Eli coughed, stood, and wiped blood from his chin. "Then why are you so afraid of me?" Rael tilted his head. "I'm not afraid. I'm disappointed. She chose you." He pointed at Scylla, who stood frozen near the edge of the cliffs, her face torn between rage and fear. Rael smiled at her. "You could have chosen greatness. 1,000 children, bred from your perfect code. Instead, you chose love." Scylla's voice cracked like a whip. "This isn't about love." "No?" Rael said. "Then why protect him? Why watch him die?" He lunged again, a blur of silver and gold. But this time, Eli didn't dodge. He caught Rael's arm. The ground cracked beneath their feet. For a second, just one, Rael's perfect eyes widened. Eli didn't throw him. He pushed, and Rael flew backwards 10 feet, crashing into a tree so hard the trunk snapped. Eli looked at his glowing hands, shocked. "I didn't mean to." Scylla ran to him. "It's starting. Your body's adapting. You're unlocking the code." "What code?" "The bond wasn't just a link between us. It was a door, and now you've stepped through." Eli's chest burned, but not from pain. Something inside him was opening, a pressure, a presence, like energy buried in his bones. Rael stood slower this time. His smile was gone. "So, she gave it to you," he said. "Her full signature. The royal code." Scylla's face darkened. "He earned it." Rael laughed bitterly. "Then he's not just a rival now. He's a threat." He snapped his fingers. The 2 silent Ilari soldiers behind him changed form. Their limbs extended. Blades became cannons, eyes turned red. "Scylla," Eli whispered. "I can't fight all 3. "Yes, you can," she said, placing her hand on his chest. "Because you're not fighting alone." Light surged between them. The glow from Eli's body pulsed brighter, matching Scylla's. A wave of heat rushed out in every direction, shaking the trees, rattling the stones. Rael stepped back, shielding his eyes. "What is this?" "It's the next phase," Scylla said. "Not soldier, not machine." "Then what?" "Hybrid." Eli stepped forward. His pain was gone. His fear quiet. He could see every detail now. The flicker of Rael's breath, the twitch of enemy fingers, the rhythm of the earth under his feet. And he could feel her, Scylla, inside his thoughts, not as a voice, but as trust. "I'm ready," he said. Rael screamed, and the fight began again. But this time, Eli didn't fall. He flew. The battlefield was silent, not because the fight was over, but because the world was holding its breath. Ash floated in the air like snow. Trees had burned. The cliffside had cracked. The stars above watched through torn clouds. And in the center of it all, Ellie stood, shaking, glowing, breathing like a storm trapped in human skin. Rael lay broken at his feet. Not dead, but defeated. His golden armor cracked. His pride shattered. "You're not Ilari," Rael whispered, coughing. "You're not human either." Eli looked down at his own hands. They were no longer just hands, not skin, not metal. Something between. "I know," he said, "but I'm alive." Rael laughed once, bitter and small. Then he passed out. Scylla limped over the rubble, her silver skin streaked with blood and ash. Her hair stuck to her face. Her breathing was rough, but her eyes never left Eli. "You did it," she said softly. "No," Eli answered. "We did." She touched his chest. The glow inside him slowed. His body stopped pulsing with raw energy. The change was complete. "You're bonded now," she said. "Fully, there's no going back." "I don't want to go back," Eli said. "I feel right, like this." She looked up at him. There were tears in her eyes. No Ilari was ever allowed to cry, she whispered. But I do, because now, we're real. They stood in silence for a moment, surrounded by the wreckage of a war neither of them started, but both of them ended. Then Sayla looked toward the mountain path. The lab is just ahead, she said. Where I was born, where it all began. Aile nodded. Then let's finish it. The doors of the ancient lab opened with a sigh, like something waking from a long, heavy sleep. Inside, machines hummed. Lights flickered. But no one was there, only memory. The walls were lined with old tanks, broken pods, faded symbols. Sayla walked slowly to the center console. Her fingers hovered over the glass. I was grown in that chamber, she said. A child made in secret. Born from code and stolen DNA. She looked at Eli. They called me a mistake, but now, maybe I was a seed. She placed her hand on the console. It lit up. Blue lights swept across the lab. Screens came to life. Old files loaded. The voice of a long-dead Varnak scientist echoed. Through the room. Prototype OX Sayla. Natural response to emotional testing, positive. Regeneration speed, unstable. Fertility, unknown. Recommend termination. The screen faded. Sayla closed her eyes. I wasn't made to live, she said. I was made to be erased. Eli stepped beside her. You lived anyway. She opened her eyes, bright, steady, burning. Yes, and now. She turned to another console. Pressed a series of buttons. A chamber opened, empty, glowing. It's time. Ayla didn't speak. He understood. This was more than survival now, more than love. It was evolution. She stepped inside the chamber. You cleaned me, she said. You helped me heal. Now, I will grow something new, a future. Ayla placed his hand on the glass. Inside, Sayla was already glowing. Her body softened. Light pulsed around her like a heartbeat. I'll be waiting. Ellie whispered. She smiled. And then the chamber sealed. Hours passed. The mountain wind grew cold. Ellie sat near the edge of the cliff, staring at the stars. His body still felt strange, alien, but peaceful. Then he felt it, a pulse, not from inside him, but behind. He turned. The chamber door opened with a soft hiss, and Sayla stepped out, stronger, radiant, reborn, and, beneath her hand, a soft glow. Her stomach. Eli stood, stunned. Already? He asked. She smiled. Yes. He stepped closer, placed his hand over hers. The glow warmed his skin. It's not just one, she whispered. It's three. Eli laughed, half in awe, half in shock. Triplets, he said. No, she corrected gently. Beginnings. Far below, in the forest, the last hunter drones powered down. Silent, the system had changed. The war was over, and above them, the stars kept watching. But now something new was watching back. Not just human, not just alien. Something born in between, and it all began. In the rain,